Good morning, guys. I'm back here again with page 9 of Women of Troy, and today we are going to look into Hecuba's monody on page 9. So get ready with your text on page 9. So here we are actually seeing Hecuba's monody. I hope you know the word monody. If you don't know, monody means it's like an ode, it's like a lament, mainly sung by just one person. Okay, so this is mainly like Hecuba's lamentations of her own suffering. So she is lamenting about her own suffering. So that's called monody. So if you are going to refer to something related to this part of Hecuba's speech, maybe you can say that in Hecuba's monody. So maybe write it down. Monody, spelling is monody, monody. Monody means an ode, 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 or a lament sung by just one person. That's called monody. So here we are seeing Hecuba's monody. And here Hecuba stands as an archetypal character. What do you mean by an archetype? Archetypal character means a character which is like standing for everyone, which means Hecuba is standing here for every woman, not just women of Troy, every woman suffering from war. So here, Hecuba is actually an archetypal female character. Hecuba is like the mother. Hecuba is the queen of the city of Troy, and she is like the mother of that city. Hecuba, lift up your head from the dust, heave up from the earth the weight of your misery, you whom the gods have cursed. Troy has ceased to exist, and we, by birth, Troy's kings and queens, rule nothing now. The old life is gone, old gods, old earth, and home destroyed. We must endure it. Flow with the stream. Let the new wind fill our sail, not a brusque running tide with our fragile prow. Oh, weep, weep for my burning home. Howl for my children dead, for my husband dead, the boast of my noble family, empty as when the wings fall. So here maybe you can, especially the first two lines, maybe we could say that she speaks in commands. She's speaking in commands, and she says to herself, "Get up, lift up your head from the dust, heave up from the earth the weight of your misery. You whom the gods have cursed. You yourself are a person who has actually God has actually cursed you, and that's why you have got such a troubling life. That is why you have got such a suffering life." So she herself, so it's more like she speaks in a very commanding voice. But we know that there is no one else on stage, but she seems to be talking to herself. Lift up your head from the dust, heave up from the earth the weight of your misery, you whom the gods have cursed. So Hecuba is lying on the stage in despair, and she slowly gets up and begins to speak. And she is trying to gain that confidence back. She is utterly destroyed, but she is trying to gain her confidence and her hope back, mainly for everyone in the city of Troy, not to support all the women in, all the Trojan women, all the women in Troy. So that might be the reason why she is trying to speak in a very commanding voice, and she wanted to gain that confidence. So that's why she is imploring herself to get up off the ground and face her unhappy, uncertain future, face it very boldly. So she's trying to gain that confidence. And then she says about Troy has ceased to exist. The Troy is gone. There's no more Troy now. Troy has ceased to exist. And we, all the people in Troy, we by birth, and mainly referring to the kings and queens, and we by birth, Troy's kings and queens, rule nothing now. We haven't got a city to rule now. We are nothing. We are no more kings and queens. So our situation has completely changed. So that two lines, maybe it might be focusing on the theme fate. It is fate. They consider, as I told you, Greeks consider everything as their fate. So Greece, Troy has ceased to exist, and we, by birth, Troy's kings and queens, rule nothing now. So it's all fate. The old life is gone. Old gods, old earth, and home destroyed. So everything, all the glorious past is gone. The old life is gone. The old life of kings and queens are gone. Old gods gone. Old earth and home, everything is destroyed. So maybe Euripides is trying to tell us that fortunes can change quickly. Fortunes, any fortunes can change quickly. That's exactly what we see, especially in this corona season. Everything can change. Just one moment is enough to change everything. So fortunes can change quickly. So Euripides, through I told you, Euripides, when he wrote his play, it's mainly didactic. The nature of the play is didactic, to teach something, to teach a lesson. So Euripides would maybe wanted to show that everything can change. Fortunes can change very quickly within seconds. Anything can change. So he's trying to give that life lesson to maybe or to Athenian audience and to all people who are actually reading it. So the old life is gone, old gods, old earth, and home destroyed. And look at the repetition of the word old, because he's referring everything to the past. There's nothing new now. Everything is old. There's no glory now. There's no home, no earth. Everything is past thing. It's all past. So it's old. So the repetition of that word old is really relevant, especially in that particular situation. Um, and then she says, we must endure it. Flow with the stream. Let the new wind fill our sail, not abreast a running tide with our fragile prow. So here she compares herself or her situation to a boat. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. She compares her life to the life of a boat. So we must endure it. You just need to. The boat need to flow with the stream. Same way, we need to flow with the stream. Let the new wind fill our sail. Let the wind take the boat to wherever it needs. So let the new wind fill our sail, not a brass running tide with our fragile prow. There's no point in actually continuing to cry over the death of her, whether it be husband or the son. She just need to move on. So here Euripides is trying to use nautical imagery, nautical as well as watery imagery. What do you mean by nautical imagery? Nautical. Nautical means related to sea. Nautical spelling is N-A-U-T-I-C-A-L. Nautical. N-A-U-T-I-C-A-L. Nautical imagery. Nautical means related to sea and ships. So here Euripides is using, through the words of Hecuba, Euripides is using a lot of imageries related to sea and water, boat and ship and so many things. So there's a continued or repetitive use of nautical imagery, nautical or water imagery, okay, imagery related to water. Because as you know, the Greeks, they are used to it. They are used to the ships and sails and everything. So maybe, if they are saying, if they are trying to give it in the imagery of these kinds of things, then it will be easy for them to understand. That might be the reason why Euripides is using all these nautical imagery in his play. So that's important, nautical imagery and water imagery. So, and with her, we must endure it. And she's trying to let all the women of Troy, uh, trying to let them know that she's there for them and that we need to be confident, that we must endure it. We must flow with the stream. There's no point in crying. We have to overcome this. We need to go. We need to move on. Oh, weep, weep for my burning home. Howl for my children dead, for my husband dead, the boast of my noble family, empty as a sail when the winds fall. So she is saying, oh, weep, weep for my burning home. My home is burning. Howl for my children dead. There's no one now. My children is dead. Husband Priam is dead. The boast of my noble family, and look at the phrase, the boast of my noble family. Her husband and her son was actually the boast, the pride of her family. So that may be, it's indicating that even the women was actually they valued the lives of the Greek men. They consider men, the Greek men, as really, really valued especially in their life. So that's why she says, the boast of my noble family, and it is empty as a sail when the wind falls. Again, it's like a simile. It is as empty as a sail when the winds fall. So the comparison is to boat. So the metaphor is to a boat. So keep that in mind. And then she says that some agonies are beyond telling and some must be told. That's a good phrase. Some agonies are beyond telling. There's no point in telling. I can't tell. It's beyond telling. My pain is beyond. It's beyond telling, and some must be told. Let my stretched limbs shake with it then, this keening on my rack of pain, my bed of cold stone, my temples are throbbing, my head will burst, my heart shatters the walled prison of my breast. Oh, to sway, flow, lifted by the gentle rocking of a board, to keep time with the dirge I must sing now, the song of the dead. My threnody of tears, this is the only theme for the black-clad muse of the destroyed. No dancing can express it. Dissonant music, harsh rhyme. Again, here, Hecuba is actually lamenting about her own suffering. She begins to sing, and she says that let my stretch, so she is saying that let my stretched limbs shake with it then, this keening on my rack of pain, my bed of cold stone, my temples are throbbing. Temple means the flat area on the either side of the forehead. So my temples are throbbing, my head will burst, my heart shatters the walled prison of my breast. So her heart is beating. So all these phrases indicate her suffering, the intensity of her suffering mainly. My heart shatters the walled prison of my breast. Oh, to sway, flow, lifted by the gentle rocking of a board, to keep time. But the dirge I must sing now, and she says that I must sing a dirge now, the song of the dead. I have to sing the song of the dead because my husband is no more, my son is no more. I have to sing the song of the dead. My threnody of tears. Well, even with threnody is mainly a song composed as a memorial to a dead person, like a song composed as a memorial to a dead person. So she says that I must sing threnody of tears now, my threnody of tears. This is the only theme for the black-clad muse of the destroyed. No dancing can express it. Dissonant music, harsh rhyme. So Euripides has written beautifully the intensity and the suffering of Hecuba through those words and phrases. And then she says, "O you ships whose sharp prows cut the purple sea, as your oars pulled in a cloud of spray from the sanctuary of the harbours of Greece, till you rose, grounded in the bay of Troy, sad Troy, ominous your flute's bleak song, your pipe's death-like cry, as on taut Egyptian cables you swung at your moorings at Troy, sad Troy, like hunters on the scent of Menelaus's Helen, born to dismay. Her brother cast her and bring shame to the banks of Eurotas. You brought death to Priam, whose seed bred 50 sons, headlong fall to suffering Hecuba and a broken heart. So here she begins to sing. Hecuba begins to sing, and the intended recipient is actually Helen. Though Helen is not there, the intended recipient of the song is definitely Helen. And according to Hecuba, as Helen crossed the sea of Greece, as Helen crossed the sea from Greece to Troy, she brought with her the death and devastation for city of Troy. That's what she says. So the moment Helen actually crossed the sea from Greece to Troy, she brought destruction. So through this particular song, we could actually, or through Hecuba's monody, it is actually indicated, or Euripides is trying to indicate her hatred for Helen, whom she actually blames for the fall of the Troy. So she believes that it is Helen who has brought all this destruction for her city, the city of Troy. So Hecuba calls Helen a fatal bride. She even calls her a fatal bride. So let us look into that again. O you ships whose sharp prows cut the purple sea. So here Hecuba is referring to Helen, and she says that as Helen crossed the sea from Greece to Troy, she brought with her death and devastation. So as the ships cut the purple sea, as your oars pulled in a cloud of spray from the sanctuary of the harbours of Greece, till you rose grounded in the bay of Troy, sad Troy. So the moment you crossed Greece, from Greece to Troy, and when you came to Troy, the destruction and devastation of Troy started. Ominous your flute's bleak song, Your pipe's death-like cry, as on taut Egyptian cables you swung at your moorings at Troy, sad Troy. And look at the repetition of the phrase, sad Troy. And that repetition makes it clear that Hecuba is not just lamenting about her own suffering, she actually feels even for the city of Troy. And that's why, because she is the queen of the city of Troy, and for her, city of Troy means it's like her children, it's like a family. So that's why that Euripides is actually using that phrase "sad Troy." That repetition is used mainly to indicate Hecuba's lament, not just about her own family, but even for the even for the destroyed city of Troy. At your moorings at Troy, sad Troy, like hunters on the scent of Menelaus's Helen, born to dismay. And look at the word hunters, like hunters on the scent, hunt. Hunt posits women as a possession to be kept. Why is Euripides using that word hunter, hunt? That mainly to show that women was actually a possession to be kept, like hunted, controlled by men. And look at the phrase that shows the situation of women, especially during that time in Greece. Like hunters on the scent of Menelaus's Helen, born to dismay her brother Castor, and bring shame to the banks of Eurotas, you brought death to Priam. I told you when I told you the character, I told you Castor is actually the brother of where is that? Castor is actually the brother of her brother Castor, Helen's brother. Her brother Castor, and bring shame to the banks of Eurotas. You brought death to Priam. So the moment you entered Troy, you actually brought complete destruction. And you even brought death to Priam, my husband, whose seed bred 50 sons, a headlong fall to suffering Hecuba and a broken heart, which actually gave me a suffering and which actually gave me a broken heart. So here, Euripides, through Hecuba's monody, is actually indicating that Hecuba is actually blaming Helen for the complete destruction of her family and even the city of Troy. Blames Helen completely here. Look at me now, throned in the dust by Agamemnon's tent flap, an old woman, dragged as a slave from my home, all hope plundered from my god-cursed, ravaged grey head, with no reprieve from my punishment of everlasting sorrow. Weep, wives of the bronze-armoured Trojans, grieve for your heroes dead. Daughters, harrow the clouds with your tears for husbands lost. Troy is burning. Like the mother bird at her plundered nest, my song has become a scream. No music can I borrow from the stately dance or the solemn singing to the gods of Troy. I sang among the women, know the slow rhythm I began, Priam's sceptre in my hand when I led the dancing. So here, look at me now, throned in the dust by Agamemnon's tent flap, an old woman. So Hecuba herself says that, see, look at me now, I'm throned in the dust by Agamemnon. Agamemnon's tent flap. You know that Agamemnon is the brother of Menelaus. So she has been throned in the dust by Agamemnon's tent flap. An old woman she is, dragged as a slave, and she is being the queen of the city of Troy, is dragged as a slave from my home. All hope plundered from my God-cursed, ravaged grey head. So she is old, and God has actually cursed her. That's what she believes. With no reprieve from my punishment of everlasting sorrow. Reprieve means there's not even a temporary relief. There's no reprieve. There is no respite. There's no temporary relief. With no reprieve from my punishment of everlasting sorrow. Weep, wives of the bronze, armored Trojans. Grieve for your heroes dead, daughters harrow the clouds with your tears of husbands lost. Now Hecuba calls upon other Trojan women as well as the fellow prisoners, the other Trojan women. Who are they? Weep, wives of the bronze-armed Trojans, wives of the armored and very bold Trojans, weep now with me. So she's inviting other Trojan women to join her, turning her monody into a chomos. So I told you this was just a monody by a song sung by just one person. Now, when she invites the other Trojan women, she is turning her monody, or Euripides is trying to turn that monody into a chomos. Chomos K-O-M-M-Os. What do you mean by komos? Komos means a song of lamentation that a character or even characters and even the chorus sing together when someone else joins with that lamentation. It can be other character, it can be even a chorus. So when some other characters join with the main character to sing the lamentation, that's called komos. K-O-M-M-M-O-S. K-O-M-M-O-S. So the monody is actually turned into a komos at this point when Hecuba invites the other Trojan women. Weep, wives of the bronze armored Trojans, grieve for your heroes dead. Grieve, grieve for your heroes dead. Daughters, harrow the clouds with your tears for husbands lost. Troy is burning. Troy is actually burning now. They have set it to flame now. It is burning. Like the mother bird at her plundered nest, my song has become a scream. Now she considers herself as the mother bird of that plundered nest, and plundered nest refers to the city of Troy because she considers herself as the mother of the city of Troy, and that's why she says it's more like a simile there. Like the mother bird at her plundered nest, I'm here like the mother bird at the destroyed nest. So the plundered nest refers to the city of Troy. I'm like the mother bird. So I'm here. Troy is burning like the mother bird. So Hecuba is a mother bird. At her plundered nest refers to city of Troy. My song has become a scream. I haven't got any more song. It's just a scream now. So it's a simile there, that line. No music can I borrow from the stately dance or the solemn singing to the gods of Troy. I sang among the women, nor the slow rhythm I began. Priam's scepter in my hand, the emblematic staff which the prince, which the king carries. I've just got Priam's scepter in my hand when I led the dancing. So there's nothing with me now. I haven't even got the emblematic staff of Priam now. Nothing with me. I haven't got anything to dance from the stately dance. Nothing is there. My song is just like, oh, my music is just like a cry now. My song has become a scream. Again, here this actually shows the intensity of Hecuba's suffering with everything lost. Her husband lost, she lost her son, and even the city of Troy is completely burning. And she feels not just for her family, even she feels for the city of Troy. So, some things that you need to remember here is um, Hecuba feels no solidarity at all with Helen because she blames Helen and she feels that she does not see them as two women brought low together by the military losses of their nation. No, she doesn't view herself and Helen as in the same position. No, she absolutely blames Helen. Instead, Hecuba sees Helen as a self serving traitor. She says that Helen is a self serving traitor, one who cheats. Through her selfishness, began the Trojan War and destroyed Hecuba's home and even family. So Hecuba believes that it's just Helen's selfishness that actually brought the city to a complete destruction. And that's why Hecuba is actually blaming Helen for her selfish nature. Hecuba sees the destruction of her city and the destruction of the bodies of the Trojan women as related. The destruction of each guarantees the end to Trojan lineage and to Trojan society in general. There's no more Trojan lineage now. Everything is completely stopped. There's an end to even the Trojan lineage and Trojan society in general. That's why she's sad, and that's why she says that Troy is burning. Now, once royalty or nobility, the women of Troy have been reduced to mere property now. They are just becoming slaves. Still, as low as their fortunes are, they fear their lives. They could get even worse. So they are really scared. And look at the situation of Hecuba here. She says that I'm old, an old woman dragged as a slave from my home, all hope plundered from my God-cursed, ravaged grey head. So the whole monody of Hecuba actually shows the intensity of her suffering. So keep in mind about the boat symbolism that I have shown you there. Boat symbolism to boat or the imagery of boat, and there's a lot of boat symbolism. There is the use of the word boat is used many times, and it's actually a metaphor for Greece's successful conquest and sacking of Troy because they have come in boats and they were completely successful in their conquest and even for the sacking of the plundering of Troy. So that might be a reference to their success as well. So the symbolism of board. So hope that monody is clear for you guys. It's really important. There are some. Don't forget about the nautical imagery that I told you. Nautical imagery or the water imagery, the sea imagery, and lots of similar similes and metaphors. There are so many imageries about boat. There is a symbolism of boat. Boat is symbolizing the success of the Greeks because, and that's why she says that let us flow with that boat because they are meant to go with them to Greece. All the Trojan women are meant to go with the Greeks on their boat. So boat is actually symbolic. Boat is symbolic of the success of the Greeks and success of their sacking of Troy. So you have to interpret when Hecuba says that we have to flow with. She says here with the stream. We must endure it. We must flow with the stream. So that shows that they are enduring to the Greeks and they are flowing with them. They are following their directions and they're following their orders. So that's also really important. And also, again, Hecuba here is not just worried about her own self, not just lamenting about her own family and her own king and her own husband and son. She's also lamenting about the city of Troy, and that's why she uses that phrase, city of Troy, again and again. And Troy is burning, and she is feeling for it, and she is really sad, not just about her family, but also about the city of Troy, because she compares herself as a mother bird. She is a mother bird at her plundered nest. So that's really important. She cares for the city, she loves the city, and she cares for the other Trojan women as well. So we could see two different sides of Hecuba. She is suffering, she is lamenting about her own self, but also she, towards the end of her monody, she is inviting other people to join her lamentation. So there are different interpretations. Some people say that Hecuba is very selfish and she talks only about her own family, king and queen. She's not even worried about the other Trojan women who have lost their husbands and wives. But again, in this monody, towards the end of that, there is an indication that she cares actually for other Trojan women as well. So it's up to you to interpret it, and it's up to you to back up your ideas. It's completely up to you guys. Now here is the chorus. We could see the chorus entering. Enter the chorus. Chorus, as I told you, is Trojan women, all the captive Trojan women. So whenever the chorus enters in a Greek play, that is called Parados. That part of the play is called Parados. So maybe you can write it that near to the setting where it says enter the chorus, you could write Parados, Parados. Parados. Parados refers to the entry of the chorus. Now chorus enters. Hecuba, did you shout aloud, or was it a howl of agony? How far did it carry? Through the walls we heard a sound that made us shiver in our misery as we hid in the ruins, wretched women of Troy facing a life of slavery. So now half of the chorus is actually entering the stage from the 10, and they begin to sing with Hecuba, and the song becomes like a call and response. The chorus ask Hecuba, why are you crying? Why does she cry? So they are asking them, why do you cry? They say that they could hear through the tent and were filled with fear. They're saying that they were filled with fear, concerned that she was announcing some kind of degradation that is going to happen to them. So they were really worried, and they themselves says that they introduces themselves, we the wretched women of Troy facing a life of slavery. So they are completely wretched and they are facing a life of slavery. So we were really worried, what's happening? Why do you cry? That's what the chorus coming and asking to Hecuba. Hecuba says, my women, my girls, already the Greeks deploy their ships, their hands reach for their oars. Now Hecuba makes it clear that Hecuba announces that the Greeks have already set sail today and they will take the women of Troy with them. So that is the sad news that Hecuba is actually conveying to the chorus. So once royalty or nobility, the women of Troy have actually been reduced to just a property now. They are just like a property to be hunted, to be enslaved, and they feel that. Now, next line, chorus says that no, will they really drag us away from our homes and ship us overseas to theirs? So they can't even think about that situation of them, of the Greek people, dragging them away from their homes and taking them overseas. Hecuba, I know nothing, but sense that the worst will come. So Hecuba says that I don't know the details, but I sense that the worst is going to come. The worst will come. So they fear their lives could get even worse. They know that their life is going to get more real worse again. verse, after the dramatic upheaval of their initial enslavement, any future indignity seems possible. They know that. They know that. At least Hecuba know that, but sense that the worst will come. Now, something more than this is going to come, rather than the initial enslavement. Chorus, I can't bear it. So the other half of the chorus joins and says, I can't bear it. Soon we will hear them shout, get moving, you Trojan women. Hey, slave, kiss your home goodbye. And now move out and get on board. We are sailing for home. So they understood that soon they will hear this shout from the Greeks who have already come there, and they will ask them to keep moving from their Troy, and they will ask them to give big kiss goodbye to their home, and they will drag them and consider them as slaves and ask them to move out and get on board, saying that we are sailing from home. So the chorus is actually really worried about their own situation, and even Hecuba is actually worried about their own situation. So both of them are together, all the chorus, all the women of Troy, all the captive Trojan women are lamenting with Hecuba, and that's what we actually see in that part. So the entry of the chorus is very dramatic, and they actually join with Hecuba, the queen, and the worry of the Trojan women is clearly shown through their questioning. They continuously questions Hecuba. The chorus people, the Trojan women, they're continuously questioning. You could see lots of question mark in the first two lines. So they continuously questioning Hecuba, but Hecuba hasn't got answers for all this situation. So that's what she says. I know nothing. I haven't got answers for all your questions. I know nothing, but I sense that the worst will come. Hecuba. But not Cassandra, not her, dear heaven. Leave that child inside, my God-crazed daughter, in her visionary ecstasy. Don't let the Greek soldiers deport her, not a poor mad girl. How can I grieve more than I do? Is there more pain for me? O Troy, you are lost. We all leave you now, and whose misery is greater, the dead whose dead day is past, or the living who must live in slavery? So here, Hecuba is having a little bit of hope about her own child, Cassandra. She still hopes for her daughter, even though she is suffering. She is hoping for her daughter that she will somehow prevail against this horrific situation. That's what she is hoping for, because Cassandra is not a normal child. She is a God-crazed daughter. In her visionary ecstasy, she is a person who is like a visionary. She is a bit frenzied. So that's why she says that, but not Cassandra, not her, dear heaven. And she pleads, leave that child inside, my God-crazed daughter, in her visionary ecstasy. Don't let the Greek soldiers deport her, not a poor mad girl. So she is actually hoping at least they will save Cassandra from deporting to Greece with the Greek soldiers. How can I grieve more than I do? Is there more pain for me? So she is really worried about more pain that is going to await for her. Oh Troy, you are lost. We all leave you now, and whose misery is greater, the dead whose day is past. Now she is having a confusion here, and she thinks about herself, and she thinks in her mind that whose misery is greater? Is it the misery of the dead person who is already dead, or whose day is already past, or is it person, or is it the rest of the people who are actually living who must live in slavery? So she is actually confused, and she cannot understand whose suffering is greater. Is it the people who are still living, or is it people who are actually dead? Is the people who are suffering the greatest? So that she is having such kind of a doubt in her mind. So here, Hecuba hopes that Cassandra will not come to see her in this moment. And she also thinks that she will be saved. She will not be deported from the Greek soldiers. That's what she says. I am so frightened. Look, I'm shaking with terror. I crept from Agamemnon's tents, dear queen, when I heard you cry out. What new horror must I suffer? Surely the Greeks don't mean to kill me here. Are they mustering at their ships, getting ready to row in groups by the stern? So, as I told you before, the chorus, the captive Trojan women, they have got lots of questions, and they're worried about lots of things to which Hecuba cannot answer completely. So the second half of the chorus enters here from the 10, and they begin to sing with Hecuba as well. Hecuba cannot answer most of their questions. She cannot answer. Hecuba, my children, a blasted mind never sleeps. I came out here at dawn, but there is no relief. So Hecuba says that she couldn't sleep, and that's why she is here. She came here at dawn, but still there is no relief for her. Chorus, is there any decision? No message from the Greeks about the slave allocation? Who will be my master of my who will be master of my grief? So all the Trojan women, all the captive women are really worried, and they are worried about who is going to be their master. To whom are they going to be allocated? Hecuba, it won't be long now till you hear the worst. So Hecuba again says that you are going to hear the worst and it won't be long now. Chorus, I can't bear it. Who will it be? Which lord of the Greeks will carry me over the sea to Argos or Phthia or some bleak island far from Troy, one of the accursed? So they are all worried about to whom they are going to be slaves. O you gods, where in your misery shall I go? What corner of the earth shall I burden with my old age, like a drone in the hive, or an image of death still in the flesh, a shadow from the country of forgotten shadows? I will be a concierge. They will set me at the outer gate, or in the nursery with the children, in the entourage of some Greek princeling. I who in Troy held my state as a queen, half divine, with kings to pay me homage. Now here, Cuba, an old woman, wonders what will happen to her. She thinks about her own situation because her situation is different to other captive women because she is old. She was once a princess, but now she imagines that she will be reduced to a nurse or even a guard in her new home. So she doesn't know whether she is going to be reduced to be a guard or even just like a nurse. So, O you gods, where in your misery shall I go? What corner of the earth shall I burden with my old age, like a drawn in the hive, again simile, or an image of death still in the flesh, a shadow from the country of forgotten shadows? Now Hecuba, who now comprehends that her reduced status may make her like a shadow from the country of forgotten shadows. I will be a concierge. Concierge means a caretaker. She says that I'll be a concierge and they will sit me at the outer gate. I'll be like a guard because I'm old. I'm not good to bear children anymore. So that's why she thinks herself that they might be considering her as a guard, as a guard or or in the nursery with the children, in the entourage. Entourage means a group following some important person. So I'll be like taking care of children. I who in the Troy held my state as a queen half divine, with kings to pay me homage. And now look at the downfall of her situation. She was the queen of the Troy, and now she is reduced. She is going to be reduced either to a guard or to a nurse. So that's why her old age is making her to wonder more about her situation rather than the other captive Trojan women. Now, the two choruses who had been singing separately, they are now joining together. They are uniting and they are singing together here. Oh, the pity of it, the pity! What words, what howling can give tongue to a pain no animal could endure? Never again in the shadow of Mount Ida will these hands of mine pass the shuttle back and forth between the threads as I sit at my loom. For the last time I harrow my heart with the sight of my dead son, the last time before greater sorrow overwhelms me, and my slavery begins, perhaps forced into the bed of some loathsome Greeks. God curse such a night and the evil powers that bring me to it. Or maybe my slave's back will break drawing holy water from Harene. O Athens, God-favored city of Theseus, may I come to you, not grovel by the turbulent Eurotas at Menelaus' mercy, party of Helen's loathed household, unto the Troy sacre's heel. So now all the chorus, all the captive women, they are joining together and they agree with that their situation is actually pitiful. And they understand that this is the last time they will see their parents' homes, the last time they will be free women. And that's why there's a stress on that word. There is a phrase, last time. For the last time I harrow my heart with the sight of my dead son. The last time before greater sorrow. And the repetition of that phrase is actually stressing the effect or the intensity of their suffering. It's the last time that they're going to see their parents' home, and it's the last time that they're going to be free women. And they wonder, they even will be raped by Greek men. That's what they are saying. Overwhelms me, and my slavery begins, perhaps forced into the bed of some loathsome Greek. So they even worry about that. They even wonder that if they will be raped by the Greek men who claim them, or if they will be used as servants. They will be sometimes used as their servants, or maybe a slave's back will break drawing holy water from Paris, or they may be using them as slaves, making them to draw water continuously and breaking their back. And then they actually, the women, they hope that, but still they hope that, they have got hope. They hope that they will not be taken to Athens, where that they will be taken to Athens. Sorry, that they will be taken to Athens, where Theseus is from, but not to Sparta. They wanted to go to. They want to go to Athens, God-favored city of Theseus. May I come to you? So they're begging gods, can I come to Theseus, God-favored city, rather than going to Sparta with Menelaus and Helen. So that's what they are saying. They say that they would be happy in the city of Peneus, which is near Mount Olympus or Etna, which is supposedly beautiful. So the next paragraph is all about their hope. They are hoping that they will be they have got some kind of hope, that they hope that the Greeks will be taking them to some kind of beautiful places other than to Sparta with Menelaus. I have heard men say that foothills of Peneus city beneath Olympus are famous for their wealth and the fertility of their green fields. There, of all the places on earth, would be my second choice. So they are having that hope in their mind, and they are actually dreaming that they will be going to some other place other than Sparta. And they talk about a city called Peneus here, and they say that let that is my second choice. Shall they take me there after the sacred halls of Athens? And the land of Mount Etna, which scales its slopes with Hephaestus's fire, the mountain homeland of Sicily, across the strait from Tunis, holds pride of place for integrity, and is renowned for its brave men. Or else take me to another city, Mount Etna, or the land of Mount Etna. Take me there, because it's renowned for brave men. It's renowned for the integrity and brave men. And there is a secluded valley, they tell me, watered by a beautiful river named Crathus, close to the Ionian Sea, whose dark streams, like hair, as they flow, become reddened into the richest gold. Its springs are sacred, and forever blessed with plenty is that valley, breeding heroes hardened for war. I would be happy enough to live there. So they are hoping that the women of the chorus try to make the situation light. They say that they would be happy in the city of Peneus, or which is near Mount Olympus, or in Etna, which is supposedly beautiful. So they hope that they will be going to some other beautiful places other than with Menelaus to Sparta. But look, a staff officer of the Greek army has some news for us. I can see him hurrying at a brisk march in our direction. What will he tell us? What more worth saying? The Dorian Greeks have reduced us to slavery. Now the chorus women, while they were dreaming about the place that they would take them to, they actually saw a Greek army coming forward to them. Just a Greek staff, a Greek army officer coming towards them. And they are wondering whether he will be having any kind of some news for us. I can see him hurrying at a brisk march in our direction. What is he going to tell us? What will he tell us? What more worth saying? The Dorians, Greeks have reduced us to slavery. So here, the Dorians Dorians is actually one of the four major ethnic groups among the Hellenes of classical Greece. And so it's just an ethnic group, and that's why they are specifying the ethnic group, and they're saying the Dorian Greeks have actually reduced us to slavery. So the Greek people, especially the belonging to ethnic group of Dorian, have actually reduced us to slavery. Now, what more else is to come? So they are actually wondering about what the officer is trying to say to them. So when you think about all this, you have to understand that there are so many meanings hidden. There are so many hidden meanings here. So Hecuba and the chorus actually unite in a moment of communal suffering and savoring of bittersweet memories, and they are thinking about their bittersweet memories, while contemplating the miseries that await them. They know that more miseries is actually awaiting them, but they are trying to think about some good, sweet memories, at least to calm them down. So they have got that hope even at the time of suffering. So images of their past lives are contrasted with the possibility of being forced into the bed of some loathsome Greek. So their past glory and their past happy life is contrasted with their future life, which is going to be maybe with the Greek soldiers, maybe as their slaves, as their sex slaves, or as their servants sometimes. However, hope remains as the chorus contemplate the part of the Greek Empire where they might be happy enough to live. So they are contemplating about some of the Greek Empire where they will be happy. So they have got that hope even at that time of suffering. And this hope we could see is progressively, this hope is progressively eradicated through the play as the women, especially Hecuba, received blow after blow in an agonizing display of suffering. So we could see that this hope is progressively destroyed later on towards the end of the play. So, but at least for now, they have got some kind of hope in their mind, and they hope that they will be taken to some kind of beautiful place, though that is not going to happen. So even during what is likely the darkest time of their lives, the Trojan women, they are actually doing their best to comfort one another. They're comforting each other. And they imagine the ways their fortunes could improve if they are taken to somewhere beautiful. They are imagining that their fortunes will be better if they are taken to some other beautiful place. So still the silver linings they seek out, being a servant instead of a sex slave, being taken to a beautiful or historically significant site against their will, only further illustrate how dire their situation later on is. So they are hoping that they are getting some kind of a better place, but we know that that's not the situation. So here Hecuba is joining with the chorus and they are lamenting together. And as I told you, Hecuba's situation is different to the other captive Trojan women because Hecuba is old and she knows that she is not even good enough to be a sex slave and she's too old to be a kind of beautiful trophy to any of the Greek men. So she clearly knows that, and that's why she is more worried about her own future.